welcome to the LB Gaming channel. Now, this video is going to go through fortress defenses with you guys and how to get the best possible fortress defense with the tools and shinobi that you have available. So quick disclaimer before I get into it. If you don't have the reanimation shinobi pad and you don't have the Itachi pad, your base is never going to be super OP, especially from ranks Gokunin and above. However, you can still set the traps and installations in the right place, use the right shinobis in the right place, and you can still have a very solid defense. So let's get right off into it. I'm going to label each of the floors so you guys can follow along with what I'm saying. Starting from left to right, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you have the final room. Okay, so starting with floor number 2 on our map. So this floor is basically set with tornado traps and mirage aromas, because what you want to do here is set your opponent's support characters to have to fight either Kabuto, Shisui or Sasuke on floors 1, 5 and 3 by themselves. Now if your opponent has a jutsu that's going to set off traps, there's not much you can do here, but if they don't, then they're in for a world of trouble, because what the mirage aromas will do is they will draw the support characters towards them, and they will hopefully then hit the tornado traps along the way, as well as possibly being sealed, and that's basically a GG if that does happen. If it doesn't, then there's not much you can do, and then we'll move on to what the other floors are for. So floors 1, 5, 3 and 7, the ones with the shinobi on them, they're basically all set the same. You have your shinobi there, your strongest shinobi, and then you'll have a couple of these mirage aromas to power up your shinobi, some bear traps, some tornado traps, and these mirrors. You can also have some ceiling scrolls in there as well. I ran out of those, that's why some of them might not have them, but yeah, those floors are all quite self-explanatory, just to make your shinobi as strong as possible. Now we have floors number 4 and 6, which are adjacent to each other. Now these two floors are kind of useless floors. Basically they're just there to sort of slow your opponents down or to do a little bit of damage to them. So for instance, floor 4, I've got here some tornado traps, so what these can do is send them back to maybe the start of the map just to waste a bit of time, and then floor 6 can do a bit of damage with the bear traps and slow them down. But yeah, pretty useless floors. Your next main important floor is going to be floor number 8, the one just before the final room. Now what you want to definitely do here is set your tornado trap 2s all over the place, because what that's going to do, especially on this map, terrain 24, if the enemy hits any of these tornado pads, they're going to get sent straight to the beginning of the map, or even further back than the beginning of the map. Then they're going to have to make their way all the way around to try and get back to the floor. Now if they hit it again, same thing's going to happen. So it's just a good time wasting strategy, and another way to win, especially if you don't have strong enough shinobi to sort of take them out. Again, if they have jutsus that can set off traps, there's not much you can do. Last thing you want to possibly think about doing on this floor is setting some of these ceiling scrolls just before the entrance, along with maybe a smoke bomb if you have any capacity left available, just because in some cases people are a little bit overeager, or sometimes they have their control set to autoplay, which means they'll hit the ceiling scroll, go straight into the final floor, and then it's definitely a GG if they're sealed. Then you've got floor number 7, which again is just one of those floors that's just there to try and waste time, maybe do a bit of damage, but yeah, not much you can really do or expect there. Okay, now very quickly I'll go through what you don't want to do, or what you don't want to use rather. Now the large animals, they can be okay, especially if you're like a lower rank, but as soon as you start moving up ranks, especially towards say Chonin, the Ninetales for instance, his defense is way too low. He can be one hit killed with only 977 defense. His attack is very high, but he'll get killed before he gets to attack most of the time. And then you got the other tailed beast that's decent to use, which is the One Tails. Very low attack, but he might waste a bit of time seeing as his defense is quite high. But I would rather go with the traps on this floor, spread them out so that if the enemy tries to escape any of the traps by, I don't know, going around the side or just trying to tunnel down the middle, anywhere they go they'll be hit by a trap and their time will be wasted at least a little bit. So I would say it's better than having a tailed beast there. Also, the tailed beasts have a cooldown time, so if you forget to switch them out, then you end up just having a floor with nothing on there for a few defenses. As well as that, I would say all of these sort of ninja characters and all of the sort of insect and animal characters are quite useless as well, because what they actually just do, they're really easy to defeat, and they'll just end up restoring your opponent's CP because it's free hits. So yeah, I would suggest not to use them and stick with using the traps and the time wasting strategy. So that's all the sort of tips I've got in this video. And in the next video, I'll go through the shinobi to use. I'll go through like a range of shinobi because I know everyone won't have the same shinobi and jutsus and setups as me, but there are some things that are kind of universal that you can look out for to decide which shinobi is the best to use for you on the floor and also in the final room. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope this tutorial or guide video helps with your defense. Until next time.